How are you? Sober Paddy here. I'm in Bondi Beach and it is coming close to the height of the summer, Christmas time. I'm heading home to the mother country in a week and a bit. I'm really looking forward to that. It's been a real hectic couple of weeks. I have had two people very close to me pass away. One was Siobhan O'Neill, who was battling with cancer for a few years, and she passed away a couple of nights ago in the company of my great friend Deco Collins and a few others who are very, very close to her. And I think, a lot of people are just sort of happy that she's not suffering anymore, but of course everyone's devastated with the news that she's passed away. My other brother-in-law as well, Ethan Chong, he passed away a few weeks ago, and he went a little bit more spectacularly and in a shorter sort of period of expectation. And again, his legacy is not forgotten. I'm actually wearing one of his shirts right now. One man's misfortune is another man's gain, but he's dearly missed by everybody, and it's been a real heartbreaking couple of weeks. I suppose through it all I haven't really had a drink. I haven't even considered having a drink, and I think at this stage I'm quite over that association of emotional trauma with alcohol. Although I was Skyping a couple of friends after I heard the news of Siobhan passing away, and they were all sitting around, they were drinking whiskey and they were toasting her and that sort of stuff, and I started thinking about it, and I really would have loved to have been involved in that ritual of celebrating someone's life by toasting them with a drink, but that's really only a myth that you've built up over the lives of and the history that you've been given to by other people. It's not really, it doesn't signify too much more than what it signifies, if that makes sense. So I suppose the truth of the matter is that being sober in these situations gives you sort of clarity about what's going on. You don't really get too I suppose, look, I got bladdered a few times when it was my own father passed away, and I remember the night before his funeral I had a raging argument with my ex-girlfriend at the time, and woke up on my mate Deco's couch, and I was just didn't know where I was, didn't know what was going on, and that was part of the whole sort of vacuum of madness I was involved in at the time. Another massive thing as well, which I think a lot of people are probably bored to their teeth of listening to about at the moment, is the way the Irish economy, and a lot of the commentators and that are talking about how the government have mismanaged it and how the banks themselves are the problem, but I think where all this is true, especially in terms of the government and how they've handled it, and the massive thing that most people are missing is that this has all been planned by the central banks. This has all been planned by the Federal Reserve Banks of America. These massive corporations who are privately owned enterprises have planned all these things. They planned the Great Depression in the 20s, they did the same thing in the 60s, and they're doing the same thing again now. And they have such control over the media. I mean, in Ireland you can't open a newspaper without being absolutely sick of the sight of these headlines to do with the banks and headlines to do with that. And what it does is it breaks people's will to actually perceive anything apart from wanting escapism from the hard facts. And this is it's a really convoluted way of controlling people. And it's harrowing to see the state of the world. It's not just Ireland. It's not, the whole of Europe has been scourged by this at the moment. And at the top of the tree we have lads, Irish government people, who are just sort of out in the piss, and they don't really know how to handle it. And it's a shame, really. Even economic social commentators don't want to get involved in the philosophical idea that the capitalism that we're part of is an elitist group who just really much control the world and all the enterprises involved in it. It's another very sobering thing that's happened over the last while, and it really beggars me to ask the question, like, what is next? What's next when you see young people who you love passing away, when you see the country you grew up in being ripped apart by massive financial institutions? What's next? What's going to happen after that? Do we just sort of try and get back on our feet and become part of the same problems? Do we not learn the lessons? I mean, if the money which has been invested in these banking corporations have been invested in cancer research and in trying to find a better way of living for young kids who've got problems with drug addiction or whatever it is, I might be talking a different story here today. But the facts of the matter is that the world that we live in at the moment is governed by an elitist group, and they care nothing. They care nothing about the common man. And until the majority of us wake up and smell that, we're going to find ourselves intoxicated, running into anything we can to try and escape from the realities of our pitiful existence. So I'll leave you on that note. I'm going to be back in Ireland next week. I'm really looking forward to it. Whatever you're doing, get up out of the pub. Whenever you're in the pub, have a fucking serious discussion about what's going on, because it's a sham, you know. Good luck.